Welcome to the Missouri Woods and Water Podcast with your hosts, Nate and Andy. Michael was here earlier, but his internet sucks, and so he left the call, and then Andy showed up late. His internet usually doesn't suck, and he's having problems lagging tonight. So first off the bat, let us just apologize. There's a few times in the show that, don't go great, but you can pick everything up. Just a little bit of issues with technology tonight, but hey, that's all right.
I just kind of jump in randomly here and there.
Yeah, that's how Andy treats me and Micah at all times. Just whenever I feel like, being around, I'll be around.
Or I feel like, doing it.
So we got an awesome show tonight, man, don't we?
It is great. I really enjoy this type of stuff and talking these things with knowledgeable people. And yeah. I think Corey Groff is just that.
Corey Groff is our guest. We know a lot of folks in this space. We've got to meet a lot of awesome people in this outdoor world, and Corey Groff is one of the most genuine guys that we have met in this world, not just the coyote world, but in the outdoor, world. And he's also really good at what he does, which is kill stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight our show is a little bit different. We've done a few shows similar to this, but tonight Corey talks about his top 3 rifle calibers, and inside those calibers, his favorite rounds, weight, what he uses, that sort of stuff. And it's a good show for people who have never met Corey or know Corey before. I guarantee you there's going to be at least one of those calibers that are surprising to them. And so it's a good talk. And, Corey does a good job of breaking down what he thinks about each one. I'm not going to spoil any of them, but you'll have to listen. But some awesome talk in there. And without further ado, let's get into our sponsors, and then let's get into the show with Corey because it's a good one. First sponsor we'll talk about is Weber Outfitters, WeberOutfitters.com. Great friends of the show. And, we talk about a coyote tournament that Corey helps run down in Licking, which is the Clifton Memorial Tournament. And Weber Outfitters is also hosting a coyote tournament for a good cause this year as well. It's the 2024 Nemo Predator Tournament, which is on January 12th, which is a Friday. So that's the meetup, and then the actual tournament's the 13th. They're partnered up with Xplicit Outdoors to help raise some money. So check them out.
They still have their big sales going on?
Yeah, it's all the way through December. All the way through December. They got a big sale going on. I don't have the email up in front of me.
Right now.
You got some what right now?
Check it out, though. Definitely.
I love that you're lagging. This is hilarious to me. This is
going
right in the show. No, but also $400. I know it's $400 off the Elite Era. So that's a big savings right there, which is what I shoot. I shoot an Elite Era, and it's an awesome bow. So yeah, check out Weber Outfitters. Athlon Optics, ridiculously good optics. I actually said it right.
You said it great now.
Yeah. Last week's show, we talk about it with Jesse and Harley. And funny that, the Midas Tack and the Aries were in his top 2 as well, because you and I both are partial to the Midas Tack. Do you have an Aries?
I don't have an Aries. I have the Midas Tack and the Helos.
That's right.
BTR.
Yeah, that Midas Tack, though, is pretty sweet. Send us a message and let us know what you like shooting if you're shooting an Athlon. What's your favorite scope? Because I'm partial to a few, but, there's been some that, like that Midas Tack, surprised the hell out of me. I didn't think I'd like it. But then I got one, and I'm like, damn, this thing is nice. So,
and it's, our interest in scopes, hit us up. Between the 3 of us, we have a lot of different options. We've tried some different things. Just really, they've tried different things. We can get you in touch with those guys. They can get you guys set up.
Yep, definitely. On X Maps, we use the hell out of those maps right now, especially with coyote hunting. Use our code MWW20 for 20% off. Black Ovis, use our code MWW10 for 10% off, and don't forget to check out their sister company, Camo Fire. Get on that, download that Camo Fire app and get on there. Huntworth Gear, use our code MWW15 for 15% off. I don't know if they've got any sales going on right now, so
they have the Holiday 25, I believe.
So once again, better than 15. Use it. Let them know you heard from us or heard about them from us, but use that 25% discount because we want you to save as much as you can, and get into some Huntworth
check
gear.
out their Heat Boost line.
You have to, especially with coyote hunting. That Heat Boost line, the bibs. I was never a bib wearer until we started working with Huntworth, and now I wear bibs.
Those mid-range bibs that I just got. I don't know if I'll put pants back on.
No shit.
I love those mid-range bibs.
Only bibs I got right now are the Heat Boost, but maybe I should try out those mid-ranges.
They're great.
Mid-season, maybe. I don't know what they're actually.
Mid-season?
Yeah. Mid-season.
I am so terrible about names of products. I apologize. So I know they have a specific name.
Sorry, recording in progress.
Yeah, I get it. Alps Outdoors, use our code 2023 Woods Water for 30% off. Be using the hell out of their tri-leg stool this coyote season. Once I found that thing, there's nothing else I use when I'm coyote hunting. I rarely sit on the ground. Andy sits on the ground a lot more than I do. He's also taller than me, so he sometimes does get down. But honestly, you use that tri-leg stool just as much. And
I use a tri-leg stool, and I like the it's so terrible of me, but like I think their coyote packs called like the Enforce pack, maybe the Predator pack. It has the kickstand legs. You can sit on the ground. It has 3 or something to lean against. You can use that. That's a great option for the predator hunters wanting to stay low, sit on the ground, stay hidden.
Yep. So check them out, alpsoutdoors.com. Zamberland Boots, check them out at zamberlandusa.com. Reveal Cameras by Tacticam. There is a coyote tournament coming up 2 weekends, I think, for you guys. I don't get to do the Xplicit tournament that we were talking about last week. And there's a farm that me and Micah hunt that those coyotes must have just, I don't know, heard that there's a tournament and they just want to sit there in front of our cameras every day. So
taunting you.
They're asking for is what they are. And those are all in those reveals, man, and they're cool to check out. A few of those pictures have been during the day, and they're showing how pretty they are sometimes too. So check out those reveal cameras, man.
Their HD photos and the videos, I love them. I mean, you get those, watch them, coyotes or deer, whatever, walking across there.
Yep.
And high def is pretty awesome.
Yep, it sure is. And then lastly, but not leastly, Habitat Works. Dustin Williams, give our buddy a call at 816-752-7390. And right now he's giving free consultations for anybody that gives him a call or shoots him an email at habitatworksllc@gmail.com. And he specializes in all of it: timber stand improvement, forestry mulching, fire, mapping and planning. And like I said, you call him now.
Burn your shit.
What? He'll burn your shit. And you call him now. Actually, he did a video today of burning shit. If you call him, like I said, he'll give you a free consultation, which is huge. I mean, huge.
Mm-hmm.
So
big value.
Give Dustin a call. That is our sponsors for today's show. Let's get into it with our buddy Corey Groff about his 3 favorite rifle calibers.
Hey, before we get too crazy,
yep,
I think we definitely get into it, but I think we did Corey a disservice. We did not tell people where to find him. My phone just died, but his Instagram is _Corey Groff. Check him out there. Check him out on Facebook, Corey Groff.
Yep, and that's GROFF.
Great content, good information.
Yep. So, yeah, check them out. Good point, Andy. We did not do that. So, now let's get into our show with Corey. And we got through our internet problems, and we made the night happen.
Bang, bang.
There was one point in time we thought about just quitting. And Corey would have been nice enough to reschedule, but we made it happen. So, appreciate everybody sticking with us. Enjoy the show. This is the Missouri Woods and Water Podcast. All right, take two, and this time we're without Micah. Poor guy had to jump off of our podcast because his internet just doesn't treat him right sometimes, and tonight was one of those nights. So with me now is Corey Groff, friend of the show, and expert killer of predators. Corey, what's up, buddy?
Doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I did my best not to give you the nickname I already gave you earlier when we were not recording.
Yeah, we probably better keep that to ourselves.
Yep. It's true, but yeah, it's just got to keep it PG. But we're recording this show with you on the 21st of December, and it's like 60? It was 60 degrees today down there where you're at.
Yeah, it was like 62, I believe, today, and I mean it's crazy weather. So I'm hoping, it being the first day of winter, maybe we'll get some winter here before too long. But hey, the predators are coming, so that's good.
I was just getting ready to say you killed today a gorgeous freaking fox. Maybe you don't think so, but to me, the picture I saw on the old Facebooks, that thing is gorgeous.
No, he was very pretty, very, very pretty fox. He was a little bit small as far as fox goes, but as far as pretty, yeah, he was definitely a pretty fox.
Now, as far as I know, we don't have gray foxes up here in this part of Missouri. Is a gray fox typically bigger or smaller than a red fox? Do you know?
They're typically a lot smaller.
That's what I thought.
They're usually about half the size.
Yeah. The way you were holding them at first, I was like, "Oh, that's a nice looking coyote," and I like, wait a minute, that's a longer tail. It's pretty bushy, because we don't have those up here, so it kind of threw me off at first. And yeah, that's a beautiful representation of a gray fox if I've ever seen one, which I haven't. But
they're one of my. They're one. I don't know if you've ever seen any of people calling in fox before, but they'll posture up and they'll throw their tail over their back, and so I mean they're pretty neat watching coming to the call. So
that's cool. Yeah, I've only called in 2 foxes that I know of on stands actually so far. Which we do have them. I take that back, 3. I got one last year too, but we have them up here. They just don't seem to be super, super thick, which I think that's the case with foxes a lot of the times. I mean, I think they're around more than you actually think they are, but not like a coyote or something like that. But
right, the numbers of foxes are really way down, and they are in this area too. Typically, I don't try to kill any fox. The landowner I was hunting on this evening, he's turkey's back, so he said take care of everything. So that's what I've been doing. But red fox, gray fox, we're very down here, but we do have pretty diverse, species of predators around here: bobcats, coyotes, red fox, gray fox. So
yep. Speaking of bobcats, as we all know, we had you on our show last year. Did we specifically talk about bobcats last year with you?
I think that's what the show was mostly about, I believe. I can't remember.
I've slept since then, so I have a hard time remembering. But last year you killed was the best year you've ever had with bobcats, correct? As far as number you've killed?
It was the best. Yeah, it was the best year. I killed 13. I had, I think 15 calls and killed 13. So
what? How many you at this year so far?
Well, I'm not doing as well.
Oh, you killed them all.
No, I kill them all, but I've had a little problem with me missing. So I don't know, but I don't miss a whole lot. But I ended up missing the first 2 called bobcats that I called, and finally got one on the ground there a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know. Just I guess it finally got to me.
Yeah. Well, hey, I won't say shit about shooting. I can tell you that much, because as soon as you talk it, you start missing. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Well, and that's I know, and it happens to all of us, and sometimes it gets it messes a bit when you miss something, and the next time you go out, and just so happened to be one. The next called in predator that I called in was another bobcat, and it was really weighing on my mind, and just happened again. So
that can happen. That can happen. Okay, so the topic of today's show, we actually thought of this after our last show, which was our coyote season, quote unquote, kickoff show last week. We were talking about like different bullet weights and speeds and what each of us kind of liked and didn't like. We didn't get into a lot of detail about it, but we talked about it. And we thought, it'd be cool to talk to someone like you who, has a background with rifles. You do a lot with a custom rifle shop down there in the southern part of the state. And you've been around a bunch of different rifles that a lot of people haven't even seen before, too. I can almost guarantee you one of the answers you're going to have in your top three will be a rifle round that a lot of people might not even know about, to be honest with you, let alone shoot, right? So we're going to do Corey's top three rifle calibers. We'll talk about, what he likes about that caliber, that sort of stuff. And then inside of those calibers, we're going to talk about his favorite rounds. His favorite, whether it's a brand that he likes to use, if he's not reloading, if he is reloading, what type of reloads he likes to do, and then, the grains and why he likes that one compared to maybe a different one inside that round. And talk of the devil, Andy is here. So we're going to let Andy on, and he's going to hop on in the middle of this recording. So it's fun. So we'll work backwards. We'll start at your number 3, and then we'll go to your number 1. But first, we're going to say hi to Andy. Hey, buddy. Can you hear us?
Hey, Andy.
He can't hear us yet.
Gave you the finger.
Can't hear us yet. I'm just glad he's got a shirt on. That's just what I'm happy about. But okay, so we'll move in, and once Andy gets connected to the audio, then we'll let him jump in. But all right, so were there any rounds? So I only gave you 3 rounds, right?
Yep.
Is there any round that you left off your list that you wish I gave you 1 or 2 more options? Caliber, excuse me.
Well, there's because there's so many good calibers out now today. But yeah, I would have probably put maybe a top 5 in there just because of the 2 that's on my mind. So, yeah, I don't know. I beat this around for the last week since we've talked about it.
Yep.
3, I know the 3 I'm going to pick.
Yeah.
But those other 2 were just kind of hanging around there a little bit. So
yeah, I thought about giving you 5, but since we're talking about rounds inside of that caliber too, I kind of was like, well, I don't want to make him talk to us for 3 hours, even though I know he would. But I could see that getting pretty long-winded. Hey, just in case you're worried, Andy, you're on mute. That might be part of your problem. I don't know. But we're going to continue on until you got it. Okay, so Corey, your number 3 caliber. What is it?
It's going to have to be the 243.
Oh, you just made Andy happy as hell.
243 would. Yeah, that would. It's a tried and true cartridge. It's been around, for a very, very long time. I think it was introduced in the 50s, something like that. It's very versatile. You can shoot deer with it. You can shoot coyotes with it. Very speedy round, very accurate round. Ammo availability. There's all different types of manufacturers, different types of projectiles. I mean, so it's a very diverse round. So, I mean, it has to be in my top three for sure.
Yeah. Andy gave a fist pump when you said that, because that's probably one of his, well, actually might be his favorite round. I know he shoots that a lot. So, and I was kind of thinking that might be in yours, which makes me think that some other ones that I like aren't going to be in it because they're very closely related to a 243. So if the 243 made it, I doubt they did. So, the tried and true one can be much more, just like dependable, I guess you'd say, than some of the newer ones that we've got.
Right.
Like I'm a fan of the 6 ARC, which is a newer cartridge, or newer round in the last 3 years.
Correct. Yeah.
And a 6 ARC or a 6mm round is very similar to that 243 that you're shooting. And they have a lot of similarities, right? Like the size of bullet that I'm shooting or the size of the round that I'm shooting is something you can get in a 243. So what rounds inside of the 243 do you like specifically for coyotes?
One loader, but there's lots of good factory type ammo for predator hunting when it comes to the 243. I've played around with a couple different loads. Always grain projectile. I've shot a lot of 87 grain projectiles through it, but it seems like I always come back down to that 75 projectile.
Did you say 75?
VMAX. 75, yeah. I'm a pretty big fan of the 75 grain VMAX.
Makes sense. If Andy could talk yet, he'd probably have something to say about that.
He needs to do the Taylor Swift sign.
Yeah. We just recently went to where like the guys can stay at home and hop on the calls. And I think one thing we need to do is just get them straight up mics instead of our whole setups, just because it's just a pain in the ass for them. And like Andy right now is he's got angry face on. We already had to kick Mike off the show because his internet's so garbage. So
I'm here and I have it figured out now.
Andy's here.
There you are.
My bad.
Proud of you, buddy. Proud of you.
I was getting angry, and I found a cord that was not plugged in. It was all the way plugged in, so my bad.
Hey, at least you weren't like
Corey,
Mike.
I apologize being late. I was putting some kids to bed and giving baths real quick. My wife was still at work and working on shuffling stuff around, so I apologize.
Oh, you're fine. Hey, I'm a family man too. We got to do what we got to do, right?
That ain't no joke.
Absolutely. I didn't want to miss this one though.
Hey, we had to kick Micah totally off because his connection was so bad that we couldn't even hear what he was saying. So he just said, you know what, maybe another night.
I mean, that's just for the best anyway, honestly.
Let's be honest.
He said he sent it over to your house.
Nate's house is closer, so I'm safe.
So, Andy, you were probably busy getting mad, but Corey said number 3 round is his 243, 3 caliber, and
I was pretty pumped.
His favorite round inside of that caliber is a 75 grain VMAX type bullet. So, as a guy who is a 243
sitting over against the wall.
what are your thoughts on the size of round in the 243?
You're talking about, so your pick was the 75 grain VMAX?
Yeah, like were you in that same
Yes,
boat?
yes.
What are you? Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm running right now. I've tried several, the 58 grain. I just didn't get the consistency I really liked from that lighter one. But when I did hit a coyote, it did great damage. That 75 grain for me is just that sweet spot, it seems like, of good groupings, still great speed out of that the SS or Super Performance. I have no complaints on it, honestly. Shoots great out of. I have a 1 in 9 twist barrel and a 1 in 10 twist barrel, and both of them seem to group those real well. My close second is the 70 grain Sierra Prairie Enemy. The round. It's those rounds seem almost identical for both my guns.
Very nice. Yeah.
Now, Corey,
and your parent.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, that's all right. You're pairing up perfect, projectiles there, and everything. So the 58s probably didn't work because you needed something with a little bit more, or less, I guess I should say. Yeah, you paired up perfectly there.
And to be fair, I don't think I ever shot the 58s out of that 1 in 10. I think I shot them out of that 1 in 9 twist. So I could probably give those another look as well still. But that 75 has given me no reason to leave.
Now, part of the reason the 243 makes a lot of people's list is obviously its availability. It's been out for a long time. And you can use it as a dual-purpose gun if you're a coyote hunter and a whitetail hunter. So if you were going to use that gun for your whitetail and your coyote gun, there's some folks out there that, they can only afford the one gun. That's what they're going to be using for everything. What kind of modifications would you make? Would you buy a specific coyote round, have it running during the season, like that 75 grainer, and then would you change to something heavier for whitetail, or would you modify what you're going to shoot based on, the application?
I'd probably run a deer type round. I'd probably would look for something in that 80 grain family, maybe a 90 grain family, in that 243. I'll shoot deer with VMAX. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I mean, everybody has their own, but that's what I would do as a dual purpose 243 varmint season. I'd shoot 75s or whatever you're comfortable with. And then whitetail season, I may look at doing something a little bit heavier, something a little less explosive.
Right. Yep.
Me personally, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah, Andy and I were talking about that with this deer season. I've got a 6 Creedmoor that I was just hunting with this year, and it was a VMAX. I guess it's not is it a VMAX round, the ELD match? Andy? Is it technically still a VMAX?
Oh, it's a ELDM, right?
ELD, yeah, the ELD match
tip, but
anyway, because they still have that ballistic tip, so I don't know what they're considered, honestly. But we were talking about, you hit the deer's shoulder, I'm a little worried about that type of deal. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, all right, Corey Groff's number 3 rifle caliber is the 243, which knocks out my 6 Creedmoor, I'm pretty sure. But what about...
Which is a very good round.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it knocks out my 6 Creedmoor, and I'm pretty sure it knocks out my 6 ARC. I'm just guessing, but I'm pretty sure those are not in your top 3 now as a result. Corey's laughing, so I'm right. Okay, so Corey, your number 2 rifle caliber.
Hey, before you go to number 2, sorry, I just thought of a question.
What a tease! What a tease!
Sorry, my bad. What is your ideal twist? Like the slower twist rate, the 1 in 10, or what is your ideal twist rate in that caliber?
In the 243?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I was going to shoot 75s, anything from 1 in 9, 1 in 10 would be apple. I mean, that's perfect.
That's a good point.
I like it. I was just looking for some affirmation.
Yeah, I feel like, actually, before we do go to your number 2, I feel like I already know what you're going to say. But remember, not everybody's got Hunt's long-range supply right there in their backyard. Okay, which I know they'll take care of you.
Pretty sure.
They'll ship. But do you have a favorite? And this is not something I told him to prepare with, so remember that, folks. But do you have any favorite 243 rifles that are either, obviously if you have one that's custom, but what about like some I guess mass produced ones? Is there anything specifically that you've liked over the years that you've shot that people should check out?
Currently I have a Ruger Hawkeye that shoots phenomenal. I've shot whitetail deer with it. I've shot bobcats with it, coyotes. I also have a couple of Remington 700s that I kind of retired. I don't really shoot them anymore. Very good guns. They're just a little. We're packing in predator hunting, but yeah, I mean those two manufacturers are, they're pillars in the community of outdoor sports, and they've done a great job for years building those rifles, and I couldn't be happier with either one of them. But Ruger, and those are some really good rifles. There's all kinds of them out there, but me personally, those are the guns that I like, and they're old school, and I think they're pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah. There's a Savage. What is the name of that gun? It's the one our buddy has, Andy. It's got the green stock. Man, it is Savage. Well, I could sit here all, huh?
The Savage 110.
I think it might 110 Predator, maybe. I think maybe is the name of it. Mm-hmm. They make one.
It's a newer one that's green. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on I guess you'd almost call it a chassis that I've thought about checking out, but I bought other rifles in front of it. So, but yeah, that was a good question, Andy, which led to us asking about the actual rifles. So, and then obviously, there's all kinds of custom routes you could go. Okay, now Corey Groff's number 2 rifle caliber.
Going to be my 22 Parvo.
It's number 2.
I didn't think that was number 2.
Number 2, and the reason is because, I mean, we're still kind of working on this round. I mean, we've built probably somewhere around 30 or 40 22 Parvos now. Ryan makes ammo weekly for that round for his customers. He makes custom dies for it. And it's a great round, but it's only a year old to me. It's probably getting close to 2 years now. So I've probably got about 5 rounds through that actual gun, and it's performed great. It's performed great, but I've got my number 1's been around now, and I've used it a long time, and so I had to really throw that around the last week or so. Which one am I going to choose here, because they're both very good rounds.
We're testing some loyalty right there.
Yeah, we are. Ryan might get a little mad at me there, but that's all right. It's all in good fun.
Yep. Yeah,
absolutely.
What makes, and so Andy, you might know more about the 22 Parvo than I, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know shit about that round. So, what about the 22 Parvo is different than like obviously a normal 22, a 22 Creedmoor, 22 what's the other one? 22 Nosler. Which one's our buddy shooting, Andy?
Nosler Arc.
The 22 Arc, and then that's a brand new round. What makes the Parvo?
Brand new round. I don't think anybody has one of those though.
No. What makes the Parvo different than some of those other ones that are currently out in the market that are 22 calibered?
So if I had to compare the Parvo to anything that's been out there for any length of time, it would probably be about identical or close to 22-250 Ackley improved.
Okay.
Is what it would really compare down to. So, and I would also compare a 22 Creedmoor to that too.
Mm-hmm.
The Creedmoor has a little bit more case capacity than the Parvo. So what the Parvo was built off of, it was built off a 6.5 by 47 L case. So Ryan took that, had this idea that he wanted to build this hot rod round, had the reamer built, changed the shoulder on it just a little bit, and the 22 Parvo was born. It actually there was actually something similar done before that was similar to the what we call now the 22 Parvo. They called it a 22 Hellcat. But the difference between the Hellcat and the Parvo is it's just a little bit of difference in shoulder angle. And then we decided, once we got to doing development and stuff, we decided that we wanted to use a small rifle primer in it. So we kept pressure down a little bit with the small rifle primer because that seemed to be a really bad problem with the 22 Creedmoor at one time, and it just really depended on what brass you were using. But it was just those little telltale things that we knew about the 22 Creedmoor that we wanted to kind of change a little bit with the 22 Parvo. But it's a great little round. It's a hot rod. I mean,
So can you give us some specs on it? Like how many feet per second are you guys looking at right now with what your ballpark?
So I'm running I can do that for you guys. So I'm running a 69 grain projectile. It's a TMK.
Damn.
Sierra TMK. Yes, sir. So the whole gun's completely custom. I'm running a Bighorn Origin Action from Zermatt. It's got a gray bow, Trekker stock. It's got I'm trying to think what triggers in it. It's a Trigger Tech Diamond, I believe, is what's in it. But anyway, 16-inch carbon barrel. I'm running a 1-7 twist on that 16-inch carbon barrel. And when we first started developing this round, we kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it because this was a prototype. So we thought, let's just see what we can do with it, and so we got all the way up to 3,600 feet a second, just a little over 3,600 feet a second with that 69 grain projectile, and we had no pressure signs. And so we decided at that point we're just going to wait for hot weather to come around. We'll build some more ammo, see if temps don't change and create more pressure inside that case. And that summer, I think if you guys might remember, I don't do a whole lot of summer hunting, but last summer I beat up the coyotes pretty bad with that little round, and I think I killed somewhere around 20 or 30 coyotes through the summer, and we had no pressure signs. Everything was great. Velocities stayed in that 3,600 feet a second range once we got break-in done with it, and it's still getting it. So we actually had it on the new Garmin the other day. You got a bunch of new Garmin radars in, or I don't know actually what Garmin actually calls them, but
I've seen that on your Facebook. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty neat little units. We actually put it on that the other day, and it's still running up there right about 3,600 feet a second. So pretty neat little round.
I'll be honest with you. When you said 69 grains, I was like, he's talking about a 22? That surprised me for sure. And it's running that fast still. I was expecting you to be a lot slower at damn near 70 grains at that point. I don't know what Andy thinks there, but and like I said, I know nothing about that Parvo. I know that Corey shoots it. That's about all I know.
And things die.
And things die a lot when he shoots it. So, And obviously, rifle wise, it's a custom rifle. I was curious on that rifle though. How much does that weigh? Have you weighed it? Do you know how much it weighs?
Yeah, with my suppressor on it, I think we're just a little shy of 8 pounds.
Okay.
And my suppressor weighs, I think my suppressor is like 11 and a half ounces or something like that.
So it's about a 7-pound rifle, give or take.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I've been one of those guys that, like our buddy, I think there's a buddy we've got that writes the 22 Creedmoor, and I could be saying this wrong, Andy. So another buddy has a 22 something else, and Andy used to shoot a 204 a lot. And I've always been one of those guys, I'm just like, I'm not going to get in the smaller caliber, which is funny because one of my favorite calibers starts with a 2, but we'll pause on that one. So yeah, it's just, but I always expected the smaller calibers to have lighter weight too. It was just going to be, if you're going to shoot a 22 Parvo, it's going to be a 40 grain bullet. It just is what it is, and that's what you're going to be shooting, or whatever, or 32 grains. So that surprised the shit out of me that it's 69, and now people could be yelling at their speaker right now being like, you idiot, there's all kinds of heavy bullets for 22 Creedmoor or 22 this or that, but I did not realize that was the case. So that is the most surprising part to me.
Yeah, it's the modern style cartridges like the 22 Creedmoor, now this 22 Parvo, everybody wants to seem to run a heavier grain projectile. Even the 224 Valkyrie, I mean, that thing was developed around a 90 grain bullet. And so even like Hornady just come out with the new 22. That's been pretty popular, in my new feeds here the last couple of weeks since Hornady's kind of introduced that. And the 60, I don't know.
What'd you say, Andy?
Sorry. I think Ruger's releasing their ranch rifle. I think Ruger's releasing their ranch rifle in a 22 ARC, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Just coming out. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I kind of guessed that Ruger and Hornady seem like they're about on the same page with everything. So I kind of figured that. But that new projectile they got, it's what's it called? The V match or something like that. 62 or 64 grain projectile. It just seems like what guys are wanting nowadays, with modern cartridges. They're wanting something a little bit heavier. But what we weren't getting with that little bit heavier out of the ELDMs and the ELDM or the ELDXs, wasn't really getting a whole lot of consistency with kills. A lot of guys were having problems with the ELDM. They may shoot 10 coyotes and not have a problem with any kind of bullet splash, and then the next one might be overspun and you might have a splash, which actually happened about a week ago on a coyote with my 22 Creedmoor. Predators with that gun, and I think really what it was is the coyote was running towards the call at probably less than 60 yards, and I had to make a shot. And I don't know if it was just because it was so close. I probably ended up shooting that coyote at probably 35 yards, square in the chest, and it was not pretty. I'll just have to put it that way. I got it all on video. I got it all on video, but it's not a video anybody would want to see. It's pretty horrible, actually.
Yep.
But
he's dead, so there's that.
Yeah, I had to shoot another time or two.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely, you don't love seeing that. That's where you're like, damn, what happened? I mean, I've had that happen. I think we've all had that happen, for sure. But my 6 ARC, I shot a coyote, dropped it. Well, thought I did at like 80 yards, somewhere in there. And now this is when we were thermal hunting, and walk up to it and freaking thing's still alive. And so I had to put another round in it. And, even though they're a predator and we don't like them and this and that, your goal is not to, make them their last few minutes of life unbearable, so it's never fun that way. But
no.
That's unfortunately that's hunting.
Ideally I want a swift, clean kill. I respect the coyote, as much as anything else out there. And I know a lot of guys probably won't agree with me, but that's okay. That's what makes us all do.
Yeah.
I'm not one to watch anything suffer, so I want a good, nice, clean kill.
Well, and Andy,
100%.
Andy shares the same sentiment. I mean, just like you just said, Corey, we respect the hell out of coyotes. I mean, if you think about a coyote,
absolutely,
it's the most successful predator almost in the world. It can live. It can live in any environment. It can do anything. I mean, it can survive and advance. It can survive and thrive almost anywhere. I mean, people talk about a wolf being an apex predator. We damn near extinct those fuckers off the face of this, continent, and we can't touch a coyote.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they just keep going, and so I have nothing but respect for that animal, and we like to hunt them, and you have to kind of almost like something like that to want to hunt it. So it's just like any other. I mean, deer hunters don't want to have the deer suffer, and we don't want to have that happen. But no matter how good your round is, how good the caliber you're using, every once in a while you might have, shit hit the fan, as they say, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We can't all be perfect, and our equipment can't always be perfect, and that's just how life is. Nothing's perfect in life, but I'm glad you guys agree with me on nice, good, swift, clean kills. So,
yep. Wish I could do it sometime. Just kidding.
Conservation, right? I mean, that's
100%.
Number one.
Well,
Hold on. Before you're
gonna try to guess it.
Yes, but you can't tell us. So before you say your number one, Andy and I have to guess what your number one
too
is.
Hard at this point,
huh?
Unless I'm just off. So I don't think it's too hard unless I'm just
Okay, so I'm gonna let you guess first then.
Oh.
But so Andy, what do you think? And Corey, don't make any faces. All right.
I'm not gonna say no.
What is Corey's number one caliber?
22-250.
Okay, so that was also my guess. So
it has to be 22-250.
That's what I'm thinking. But Corey's already surprised me once tonight with 22 Parvo coming in at number 2. So Corey Groff, your number one caliber.
It's a 22-250.
We know him too well. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. You guys know me.
That, and I think it's just the ultimate. I mean, sounds like predator gun because that's a common theme. It seems like.
I bought a brand new 22-250 back in, I think it was about 2001 or 2. I completely wore that 22-250 out on predators only. I never really took that gun to the range, not unless it wasn't shooting correctly or whatever. So it's my absolute most favorite round ever. I mean, and there won't ever be another. I don't care what comes out. 22 arc, 22 Parvo, 223, 22 Valkyrie. There's just nothing better than 2250. It's just it'll never be knocked off the top as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's
it definitely is.
It's a badass round. I mean, it's I think people can knock holes in a lot of rounds. Like someone can find reasons to talk shit on certain rounds. Like the 6 Creedmoor is just just this type of gun, and the 6 ARC is a fad gun, and the 243 is just another 6mm, and this is 223 isn't enough, and whatever. But you rarely hear anybody say one bad word about a 22-250, right? It's always in people's top 5, most people's top 3. Nobody really talks about it as being a badass thing. It's always there though, right? It's like, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes. He's like always there to win the game. And the 22-250 is the same way. It's just like always there. What about that caliber do you like so much? I mean, do you like that you can pack weight with speed? Like, what about it has just, kind of sold you on it?
I've shot all different kinds of projectiles through a 250. I played with that round a lot, from 40 grain projectiles all up to 60 grain projectiles. And it really does. Speed kills, but if you can pack that perfect weight into that speed, I mean, you just got the perfect caliber. And I always settled on a flat base 55 grain bullet. That was my when it came to a 22-250. And the reason I chose the flat base is there was more meat on the back end of that projectile versus like a boat tail. And it seemed like once I moved to bullet, and I don't really know how a lot of guys, if you're buying factory ammo, I don't really know how you're going to find out what kind of base that bullet's got. But for me, that's what I was looking for, was more meat on the back end, and it had more killing power. I had less coyotes run from that, and I didn't have a whole lot of splash with that. But most of my 22-50s that I ever had were a 1 in 12 twist. So it was 55 grain. It's what I really enjoyed. I actually moved away from a VMAX, and once Nosler started making they were the orange tip ballistic tips. Those rounds were pinnacle in my opinion. That they were far superior than the VMAX. Just seemed like I had less runners, less splash, and there was just a little bit more meat on that back end of that bullet. So 22-250, guys, that's my favorite one.
Well, I'll have to check out that Nosler you're talking about, because I currently have 55.
It's rock.
Oh.
Solid.
Yeah. Andy's lagging for some reason. He's usually got really good internet too. What were you saying, man? Man, he's just now hearing me. What were you saying?
I don't know. Rock solid pick. I think that's a rock solid pick. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm lagging worse tonight too.
Yeah, it's just one of those nights, man. But yeah, it's like that Nosler I was just saying, because I run a 55 grain VMAX in my 22-250, and while I don't dislike it, it hasn't really done a lot of eating yet, if you know what I mean. It's a new rifle for me, so it hasn't done a lot of eating. So as I run out of those, I might look at those Noslers. Once those kind of they were easy to find. I found. Hey, I'll give everybody my experience with my 22-250, so that they don't make the same damn mistake I did. Because the box say nothing, but my 22-250 is an AR-10 Specialized Dynamics 22-250. Okay, so it's a gas gun, as we all know what an AR is. And when I initially bought that gun, I wanted to run 50 grainers through it. And Hornady makes a round called the Super Performance and a VMAX. And those are not made for a gas gun, just so everybody knows. I had to learn the hard way.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I'd keep having feeding issues and could not figure out what was going on. I'd turn the gas down. It wouldn't matter. It just kept not feeding. And so I ended up getting a hold of the guy at Specialized Dynamics, and I'm like, I can't figure out what's going on with my gun, And he finally asked me, "What are you shooting?" And I told him. He goes, "Move to 55 grain. I guarantee you." So apparently those Super Performance have more powder, right, Andy? I'm pretty sure. I think that's the whole deal with them. And
while they're Super Performance, yeah, they're moving faster.
Yeah, and it apparently puts too much pressure on the gun or whatever in that chamber and causes issues. And as soon as I went to those 55s, fed perfect. I mean, no issues anymore. So, but if you look at the box on a 50 grain Super Performance, there's nothing about it not being really made for a gas gun. So,
just be a man and shoot a bolt gun.
I could do that too, but that gun cost me a lot of money. So, I'm not saying I won't have a 22-250 made by Hunt's Long Range at some point, but right now, it's just going to be this. So, anyways, that's a good number one. Once you got to where you got, that's what I was guessing was the 22-250. And that's a badass gun, I'm telling you now. And if there's anybody out there that's looking to buy a rifle who is just maybe getting into coyote hunting and you're going to be a coyote hunter specifically, you don't have to worry about deer because that's always the curveball. If you need a gun to do more than one thing, now the 22-250 maybe isn't the best idea. That's when you start looking at the 243s, the 6 Creedmoors, the 6.5 Creedmoors, which I know a lot of people make fun of for whatever reason. But that's when you start looking at some of those rounds where you can kind of be in the middle, where you can shoot deer and coyotes with them. But if you're just looking to coyote hunt, 100%, 22-250 is what I'd buy right off the bat.
You betcha. Yeah, I would highly recommend.
Or is that the same order and the same guns for cats as it is for coyotes for you?
Yeah, I don't really try to save fur anymore. It's really not worth anything. The only dilemma I find is I'm still looking for that cat that I really want to mount. So hopefully I can make a good shoulder shot and not blow it all to heck.
And you'd be amazed at what a taxidermist can fix nowadays anyways. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so
you guys know
go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, do you guys know Ryan Burkholder?
Why is that name so familiar to me?
Sounds very familiar, but I can't say I do.
I didn't know. I know it's a lot of tournaments and stuff. I think he lives more around like Kirksville area, somewhere in that area. But Hunt's built him a 22-250 here a while back, and man, that's one of the baddest looking guns I've ever seen. I'll have to tag for you guys.
Don't say that to me. Don't say that to me. That's going to make me want to do it even quicker.
Send it.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, but I do want to ask one question. So you probably had a gun at the number 3 spot that you had to be debating between a 243 and something else. What landed just outside your top 3? What would you have went with at number 4?
You were just begging for him to say 6 Creedmoor.
I'm kind of but I don't want to sway him, so I want to know what he really truly thought would have been his number 4.
My number 4 probably would have been a 22 Creed.
Oh,
it's probably going to be.
You
my
definitely would have
4.
stayed in that. Yeah, you like that caliber, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, now you're dead to me. Other than that, we're good.
Hey, there's still one more spot to go.
No more honorable mentions. Damn it. I'm just kidding.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, 22
He's
Creed.
a little sensitive, Corey. He's a little sensitive.
I am. I'm a little guy who's sensitive about things. I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about the 22 Creedmoor either, other than, isn't that what Calder shoots, Andy? Which one does he shoot?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, it's pretty darn fast.
Yeah.
If I could be wrong, but 22 Creedmoor is fairly quick. It's not a Sammy round yet, right? I mean, they don't have that mass produced means. Isn't it still hand loaded round?
No, it made Sammy specs here, probably about 6 months ago. So
Okay.
Hornady is actually, making ammunition for it now. So
Nice.
yeah, I'd
That's
say
awesome.
by this time next year there'll be 4 or 5 different manufacturers made.
Yep.
Then that might not be what our buddy's shooting then.
Who knows? Who knows? He's always doing
Information is
something.
incorrect.
He's always doing something,
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that is Corey's top 3 calibers and what he likes inside of those calibers. No real surprises outside of, I guarantee you, a lot of the people, if they don't know Corey that are listening to this, when he said that his number 2, they're like, "What? What's that?" And they really ought to check that out. I mean, it's obviously a round where you can't buy a mass-produced projectile, but you should check out what Corey puts on the ground with it. He put 13 cats on the ground last year, countless coyotes,
Yep.
coyotes all over the place. And then I was just talking, Andy, you weren't on the call yet, but this gorgeous gray fox that he killed today, and just keeps hammering them, and it's all with that parvo. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And a lot of states, I've been doing some research here recently, but a lot of states won't let you have a 23 or bigger caliber.
Colorado.
So like the 22 Parvo, the 22 250, those fall underneath those. So you can talk, I mean, South Dakota, right? Colorado, there's a handful of them that you have to use a 23 or smaller. So I think it's important to know where you're going to be hunting. Also, other than just the animal, what the regulations are. So
Yep.
22 250, 22 Parvo. I mean, if you're trying to hit all those boxes, they check them.
Yep.
Yep.
We went to Colorado a few years ago for our elk hunt, and we took our rifles with us to maybe do some coyote hunting while we were there, and we all had to take 23 or smaller rifles, and that knocked. Andy, you didn't even end up taking a rifle, right? Or which one of us didn't?
I have my 23.
Okay, so then Micah didn't bring a rifle because you and I both had 223s, and I don't know that he had anything small enough at the time. And there are some states like that you can't small game hunt with something any bigger, which makes no freaking sense to me. But hey, I don't make the rules.
Or limiting guys to a shotgun or a rimfire at night. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like not.
It goes back to respecting the animal. Us, as conservationists, as sportsmen, we want a nice, swift, clean kill. You're not doing yourself any favors. Handcuffing everybody to a rimfire.
Right.
And I don't really have anything against rimfire. If that's all you got to go out and predator hunt, by all means, grab it and go out there. I'd love to see more people, take the initiative and get out and hunt, and find out what this sport's all about, because it is a growing sport. But, eventually I know once you get the itch, like we all have, you're going to be buying 6 arcs and stuff like that, until you really want to get up there and buy 2250 or, sorry, I had to get you on it.
Hey, I've got one of both. So that's my problem is I'm like, I'll try one of you and I'll try one of you. I want a 243 next. Let's do this. Yeah, it's kind of like a drug addiction. I've never been addicted to drugs, but I have to assume buying rifles is a lot like it. It's just worse, honestly. And I don't know how you get cured of it because I ain't selling them. So I don't know what to do.
I think it's been a year since I was on here last, and you were really I can't remember what you bought then. Maybe it was the 6R.
It was the 6R.
This is all I'm going to be able to have, and now you've got a Spade composite gun and
Yeah. And since then I've also got a 6 Creed. So I finally found you'll get a kick out of this. Springfield Armory came out with a.
Can't take him anywhere, man.
No, they came out with a gun. It was the Waypoint 2020, and you could get it in 6 Creedmoor. Well, what I liked about it is that 6 Creedmoor came with a 20-inch barrel instead of a 22 or 24. For hunting purposes, I like the idea of a little bit shorter barrel, and couldn't find it anywhere since for the last 2 years, and I finally found it. Wasn't even planning on buying a gun. I was sitting in a hotel room in Southwest Kansas for work, and I was on the internet screwing around with rifle stuff, looking at buying some rounds, and I just typed in that gun, and boom, there it popped up, and I bought that thing in a matter of 5 minutes. It was already purchased, and I'm like, how am I going to explain this to my wife? Oh well, it's better to ask for forgiveness, right?
That's right. You just tell her it's for her.
Yeah, it's for content, honey. I had to. Andy made me.
For the kids.
It's for the kids. It's an investment. That's my favorite one.
New kids gun.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. It's an investment, even though you're never going to sell the damn thing as long as you live or your kids. So, all right. Well, Corey, what's going on next with you? Are you you're going to keep after the cats? I'm assuming until the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm obviously going to keep doing that. I've got always do the Connor Clifton hunt January, so preparing for that, starting to get my sponsors and stuff like that together, and so we'll have another good turnout. The last couple of years we've had over 100 teams, so that's it's a lot of work, but it's one of those feel good moments when you can drag in 100 plus teams. And
now
tell us a little bit about that hunt.
Yeah, I was going to say what dates and where at.
So we actually moved the location last year from. I live in Houston, Missouri. We actually moved the location last year to the town of Licking, Missouri, just because we were running out of room and we needed a bigger facility. So Licking had a place for us to move up there. But anyway, the tournament it's actually a day and a half tournament. So you hunt January 20th and January 21st. We usually have our check-in somewhere usually around 3 or 4 o'clock that afternoon. But it's a memorial hunt. So what we do, this is our 6th annual. We started this obviously 6 years ago, in memory of a young man that was killed in a bad car accident here close to home, and very popular kid. But anyway, we started the Connor Clifton Scholarship Fund. And what's different about this scholarship is it gives to students who are wanting to go into trade schools. So I went and asked for, the family for permission to start this hunt, try to raise money for that. And every year it just keeps growing and growing and growing. I think we're up to giving 6 to 8 scholarships out every year, just off the entry fees for this tournament. So
that's amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's been really great. So the format, I'll just explain the format a little bit. So 100% of the entry fee goes directly into the scholarship fund. So us as contestants, what we play for, of course, I try to get as many sponsors as I can, donations, whatever. And then it's mostly side pot money. So I know it's hard to tell somebody, hey, you need to get in the side pots. That's where you're going to make some money if you kill a big dog or kill the small dog or a mangy dog. But all my people that come and hunt from all over the state, they know what the cause is for. So it's $140 to enter the contest. The actual entry fee is $100. So $100 goes into the scholarship fund. and then the rest goes for side pots. And it's just a great time, and we give out a lot of stuff. Usually every year we usually end up with 5 or 6 guns that we give away. And Ryan out at Hunts Long Range, he actually builds 2 custom guns for this event. And it's not just solely on Ryan. Ryan gets a hold of all these manufacturers and custom builders out there, that whether it's Graybow, giving the stocks to Ryan, or giving him a good discount, or whatever actions we decide to use for those guns. It's not just Ryan. There's a lot of manufacturers involved in the 2 custom guns that he gives away. So we give one out to a youth hunter, and then we do a random draw. The random draw for both of the guns, but we do random draw for a youth hunter, and then we do a random draw for the contest hunters. So
that's awesome.
Two $35,000 to $4,000 guns, every year. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for a good cause, and I mean a good time, and can't beat that, man. Camaraderie with like-minded people for a good reason.
Yep. So it's been great. It's a lot of stress, but man, I've got such a great group, with sponsors and hunters and everything. So everybody, we don't ever really have any. I know I listened to your guys' last podcast about, Jesse and Harley up there doing, their tournament, and sounds to me like they have a really good group up there too. I actually hunted that tournament once. I think the second year they had it, and it was a good put together.
Yeah. Sounds like, Andy, we should make a trip down to Licking, stay with Corey, and then he can take us hunting with him during the tournament. I think that sounds about perfect, to be honest with you. We'll even help out, But I need that man to show me how to kill a cat the right way, and that's all I want to see. I want to see him on a bobcat stand. Coyote's cool. I want him to show me how to kill a coyote too. But man, I want to see that guy on a bobcat stand. Any dude that can kill 13 bobcats like that last year needs to show me something. That's all I'm saying.
It's all in setup.
This is hilarious. Andy's
up here anytime, and
yeah. We got what you were saying. You're still lagging, but what he said was you can come up here anytime and do the same thing. I get it. Yep. Well, hey, Corey Groff, we appreciate you coming on today, talking about a cool subject. Sorry we had internet connectivity issues, but that's what happens when all 4 people who attempted to do this show live in the sticks. Sometimes it don't work that great, but it was a good time, good talk. And it was good to see you, and we'll talk to you later, man.
All right, man. We'll do it again.
All right.
Thanks, Corey.
Appreciate you guys having me. Yep.